When I started working for Phones for You, there was still a thing called street fighting. And that's essentially where we had to go out on the street and drag people in to try and sell them phone contracts. Honestly, in the last 6 months, I think I've tried over probably 40 different CRMs.
Whoa.
I've made like an AI twin even for videos. And I've tested it kind of on several different programs. And I've found one which is quite good with HeyGen.
The Operator Podcast by Circle Cloud.
Jamie.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Why don't you give us a bit of an introduction to who you are and what made you decide to start the business back in 2012?
Yeah, no problem. So I'm Jamie Alexander. I'm a mortgage broker. I've been a mortgage broker for 14 years now. Now, I officially set up my own company about 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago, 2019.
Oh, so my data is wrong then.
Slightly.
Oh, wow.
But no, I become a broker in 2012.
Ah, that's what it was then.
Yeah, so I become a broker in 2012. Started working for Connell's estate agents with, of course, Danielle. And started to learn the trade back then. That was after a series of just what you'd call standard jobs. I've worked between different insurance jobs and I worked at Phones for You for a small period of time. That taught me a lot.
As a sales rep selling.
Yeah. When I started working for Phones for You, there was still a thing called street fighting. And that's essentially where we had to go out on the street and drag people in to try and sell them phone contract. That was a big learning curve. Like that really takes you out of your comfort zone. Then I think it became illegal after a period of time. But yeah, when you have to do that to several hundreds of people per week, it really takes you out of your comfort zone. So you learn to sell. So it's either kind of, a fight or you're not going to last, basically.
Yeah, it's like face-to-face cold calling, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a painful kind of learning curve. But after a while, you really stop caring, if I'm being honest. So after you've done it 50 times, you're just out there doing whatever you need to do. So that was a huge learning curve in just the art of like selling in my career. But yeah, I became a mortgage broker in 2012, started working for Connell's, gained my qualifications there. Stayed at Connell's for a few years. It was a good learning platform, not really a place where I'd want to stay long term, if I'm being completely honest. And then I moved to a new build specialist mortgage brokerage role. Started working with the biggest developers in the country, but that was working underneath another company essentially. So I was self-employed, but working underneath another company. And that was really good. That really propelled what I would class my career to like the next level, because earnings went up, knowledge went up. And then again, after a few years with them, it just felt like the right time to really set up my own thing and my own business in 2019.
It's because you worked at a big company, you saw how the process and bureaucracy worked at the big company, then you worked at a smaller company, you saw how that worked. So you got the 360 there, right?
Yeah, so you saw completely how the big estate agency worked and then the smaller brokerage, and how I and a few other team members have a direct impact in actually growing that company. Because the time when I was at the smaller company, it grew enormously. Like they went from probably 15 people to 40, 50 people. Turnover increased dramatically. And then a few things changed. As their company grew, a few of the rules changed. The director decided to take certain elements away from certain brokers. And there was a few triggers there, which I thought, now's my time to really go out on my own. So yeah, that's what I done, and decided to set up Alexander Southwell Mortgages and then go from there.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, exactly. No, the big trigger really at the other company was, in mortgages, obviously you have clients and you deal with their remortgages. But essentially the director decided to take away our remortgages from our previous clients. He didn't want the same broker dealing with it again. So he wanted a new broker, a remortgage broker. He really wanted to break up the company into different teams and sectors.
That didn't work for you.
And for me personally, I want to deal with the same customer throughout the life cycle of their mortgage. So yeah, it was definitely time to really make a change and go out on my own from that point.
When you did, what made you set up the company as a fee-free type of business relationship with your clients?
Yeah, well, whenever kind of any broker sets up their own company, they really have to decide to go down one of two roads. Either you're going to go down maybe the fee-free route and do high numbers, speak to a lot of people, or you're going to really niche into a particular area. So you might be a specialist in contractors or a specialist in commercial mortgages or bridging finance down that route. And for me, what I've kind of been used to and the type of clientele that I've known and that I speak to and that what I'm associated with, the fee-free kind of first-time buyer route made a lot more sense. And also, it gave me a lot more protection.
Why?
So, because you're speaking to so many more people, let's say if you put in direct contrast, so you either go down the niche route and you do 5 mortgages a month, but they're maybe worth a little bit more. When one deal falls through, you aren't protected. Or if the industry changes, new laws come along, new regulation, you can really be stuck. Going down the fee-free route, if you're doing 20 mortgages a month, that's 20 more opportunities for upselling, protection. There's 20 more opportunities for conveyancing services, referrals, and 20 more opportunities for, more people to speak about you.
True.
And it just snowballs. So even though they're worth a little bit less, in the long run, I was thinking in the long run, obviously it's going to really help grow the business later on.
Yeah.
So that was the aim of the game from day one, really.
It's a balance, isn't it? Because you also have less risk, because having your revenue diversified means that you've got less risk. In telecoms, it's the same. You can either have a couple of customers that pay you 10,000 a month, or you can have lots of customers that pay you 100 a month.
Yeah, exactly. And I was so thankful I chose that route when COVID hit, because I'd probably say that's how kind of, not we survived, but it didn't really affect us that much. Because when certain deals fall through, it isn't ideal, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really affect you.
No, because if you're doing 5 deals a month, that's 20% of your deals falling through. But if you're doing 20, it's a different story.
Yeah, exactly. So even if a few deals fall through, you're still covered. And like I say, with the snowball element, every time their remortgage comes back through after 2, 3 or 5 years, it then just keeps going. And after a while, we've organically grown into doing quite a lot of mortgages now in the grand scheme of things. We're no longer, it was initially myself, one-man band, and then obviously we've grown now into not an enormous team, but there's kind of like 6 of us, hoping to go up to 8 this year, hoping to really establish ourselves as the fee-free broker in Southampton. I think we've kind of already done that, to be honest. So yeah, that is the aim of the game.
Amazing.
Kind of moving forward.
There's a flip side to that, right? Because you've got to get more business because your fees are lower. So how do you approach the marketing side of being able to make sure that you get, is it 20 deals a month, whereas a different type of broker would only need 5. So there's less marketing and sales efforts. So how do you tackle that?
Yeah, so when COVID hit in 2020, there was a couple of month period where it did get quite quiet, in all honesty. And I took a little bit of time out to learn. So I invested just in myself. And I think this kind of laid the foundation for us moving forward. So
what did you learn?
I learned how to build websites.
Okay.
To build websites, and learn a little bit of SEO for myself. Now, I wouldn't sit here and say I'm an absolute expert in SEO or building websites, but I've learned the basics, and I learned the basics quite well. And by doing that, that allowed me to have a certain amount of customers and a certain amount of traffic go to the website. And it gave us a certain amount of leads per month, and it's free. I didn't need to buy in leads. So that really gave us a solid foundation and gave me a solid kind of confidence really moving forward that we're going to get a certain amount of business free of charge, essentially. It just requires a little bit of work and time from myself. And of course, we've got all of our old customers that we can deal with. So yeah, that really gave us a solid foundation. And then from there, you really just have to build out. So we get leads now from several different streams, from the website, from introducers, from local estate agents, from accountants, from IFAs that we've worked with. We also work with some companies where they've retired. So they've basically given us their whole book of clients, essentially, while we give them kind of introducer fees off the back of that. So we've just diversified where the business is coming from now. But yeah, the biggest kind of best investment that I've done is actually to spend a couple of months. Obviously, it's been ongoing, so I've spent a lot longer than that kind of now, but that initial couple of months of just learning the basics of building websites and understanding websites, because a lot of one-man band mortgage brokers don't do that.
No.
They don't do that. They go down the route of just dealing with existing customers, friends, family referrals, or They go around estate agents almost begging for business. And I didn't want to do that. I did not want to do that. It wasn't really my style. So I needed to find another route to really gain traction from.
Diversifying your marketing is absolutely the right approach. And the fact that you did, so talk about the websites a bit. So what did you do? How do you get traffic to the website? You built the website. I'm assuming you use something like WordPress or Frame of Motion or something.
Yeah.
How do you get traffic to the website? Social media?
Yeah. So initially it was obviously building out the WordPress website, building as much content on there as possible.
Okay.
And one of the most important things, which a lot of brokers are doing now, especially the large brokers, building a page for every city and town across the UK. Fee-free mortgage broker, Salisbury. Fee-free mortgage broker, Bournemouth. Fee-free mortgage broker, Manchester. And then we pop up, not first, but we might be fifth, for example. And then that still gets a few leads from those cities and towns. And it's just a quick win. Really, it's just a quick win. And of course, we build kind of blogs and other landing pages on the website. And
is that you, or do you have somebody doing it for you, or you and somebody else?
So now I've got somebody that helps us, but before that was just me. So I was just building. Our website still isn't even huge. I think we've got about 140 pages on there. And in comparison with competitors who have like 500-600 pages or so, it's still not a huge website, but there are kind of quick little wins that kind of we've done. I'm just in the process of making a second website with a different trading style, but I'm using Webflow for that one, not WordPress. Just trying to mix it up really. I wanted to learn Webflow because their websites tend to look a lot better. Yeah. Work a lot better. But from an SEO perspective, from my understanding and the research that I've done, the structure and the coding behind the website is a bit cleaner. So
PBS, so it's a bit
not
bloated,
as heavy. Yeah, so WordPress and their themes seem to be very bloated and some of the pages are slow and you're almost kind of forcing it to work, whereas from what I've seen from Webflow so far, it should hopefully be better moving forward, but it's all testing ground. That's what I mean.
Webflow is good. Frame of Motion is another one. I think it's Frame of Motion is called, and I think it's the evolution of WordPress. WordPress is still good because it's open source. If you self-host it, it's free, so it's pretty good. So it's fantastic that you've actually achieved knowledge in digital marketing that has helped your business grow organically in a way, because you've done your blogs. That's basically SEO that you've done with the content for the geographical pages that you created, the blogs that you've created. So you're getting leads coming in, people are just finding you organically and then submitting a contact form on the website. And what percentage of your business would you say is that kind of that inbound lead scenario, aside of the partnerships that you've created as well?
Right now, I would say it's about 40% of the business.
Wow, hats off.
So well it's been a big part, because obviously right now we're probably dealing with 40% coming from website, probably 30% coming from remortgages, so previous customers, and then the rest just coming from a mixture of referrals from accountants, referrals from estate agents,
IFAs and things like that.
IFAs, and just a complete mixture.
Well done.
So that's kind of the base of what I've done. And like I say, I've known loads of people in the industry. One of my good friends specializes in buy-to-let mortgages, and he's built a brokerage around buy-to-let mortgages. But they spend, I think last time I checked in, about $6-7 grand on running ads a month. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm so happy I don't need to do that.
Do you run any ads?
Well, I've run a few Google ads. Again, it's more of learning. Yeah. I'm testing the water, but it's minimal. I think I'm more testing about 1,000, 1,500 a month at the moment, but we don't really have to do that. That is more just me learning and trying to put things in place ready for when we're ready to scale and go to the next level. So once I've kind of built that and I've got the knowledge of that, then like I say, it's all just testing ground really.
I'm 100% with that. If you don't play and tinker and try new things, how are you going to evolve? The same thing as this content thing, right? It's stepping outside of your comfort zone. And I never thought I'd be doing something like this, but it's the fact that this trying different things, and not just trying it once, but trying it and persisting at it, that I think will provide the biggest benefits long term.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying people shouldn't outsource services, because I think it definitely works with certain marketing agencies, and just think there's a lot of things online at the moment and a lot of people online, and it's hard to know who to trust, where to go, who's going to truly deliver results. And how I've always been, probably in good ways and bad ways really, I like to know the workings of everything. So I can't just speak to a marketing agency and say, yeah, there's $4,000 a month, go and get me leads. That would just be playing on my mind. It would just annoy me. So I want to know exactly how they're doing it, what they're going to do, what they're going to deliver, and just understand everything, because I just don't believe in just throwing money at something. It just don't make sense to me.
It's such a common pitfall for business owners. Do you throw money at it and give it to somebody else to deal with? If you do that you might be lucky and they might produce a good result, but you just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you can't then adapt it. You can't, and if it isn't working, then what's happening? I've got the same problem with WeUC now, the new platform that we built. We got to go to market. And we're in a position now that the platform is being sold through Circle Cloud, but we also want to provide it as a software as a service product. So how do you market this product? How do you get people to know about it? How do you get them on the website and then sign up? And there's marketing agencies that could do it for me for around $50,000 a month, more or less. But it's a huge expense that I could take a portion of that and run ads, write blog posts, and just do the content generation system that you've got going. But in addition to that, just testing with ads, playing with ads, put maybe 5,000-10,000 a month on ads. The amount of data that will come from that is incredible.
Exactly.
And then you can use that information to pivot and adapt and find your ICP and just go through that navigation yourself. And you will learn so much more than if you hired a company to do it for you.
It seems just it just seems a shame to almost throw just money at another company just to do it for you,
like when
you don't really learn anything yourself.
Easy way out, but harder long term.
Yeah, and I just think I just want to try different things. So we haven't really massively delved into YouTube at the moment. So we haven't tried YouTube. We haven't done that much social media. So these are still avenues that I want to explore really. And then, just try and push from there. But it's having the time, obviously, and just giving it a good go.
Yeah, and having one of the things for me is having the conviction, because the social media, for example, I knew it was there, and I closed mine off for a long period of time. Yeah. But something clicked in my mind after when was it? About 2-3 months ago, and I realized maybe it's consistency what matters here. And that's the key. I think it's having the process where you can do it consistently that really makes a difference. Yeah,
and just keep going with it. Like I say, I really want to start a YouTube channel, but I don't want to start something that I know that I can't keep up at the moment. Yeah. So I'm still in that phase where it's I would still want to just see what everyone else is doing, and then maybe start when the time's right. So
when you have the capacity to do it consistently, that's the key point.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another avenue that we can kind of really delve into.
And for the blog posts that you and your team are writing, do you use AI in any way to fine-tune these blog posts or come up with ideas or generate them for you?
Yeah, so we do it so I use AI to come up with ideas.
What's your choice? Is it ChatGPT, or is it Claude, or is it Perplexity?
Claude and ChatGPT, and we also use one called Surfer SEO.
Surfer SEO?
Yeah, so they kind of compared the top 10 in Google already. So they take all of the content from the top 10 websites for certain keywords. So for example, let's say I wanted to rank for mortgage broker Portsmouth, let's just say, or fee-free mortgage broker Portsmouth. Mm-hmm. That would then take the top 10, choose the best or the similar to us with the same similar strength domain, essentially. And then it would come up with all of the keywords that those pages are using. And it gives us a rough structure on how to write and what we need to include on our page. Yeah, and what to write. And the subjects, what to write about, how many headings that we need, how many images that we need on the page. So it's a good place to start.
Surfer SEO, yeah?
Yeah, that's what it's called. So I've used that for years now, to be honest. I think I'm on one of their legacy programs. So
you should get a referral code.
Yeah, exactly. I should do. But no, that's one of our that's one of my kind of best pieces of software that I've got some success out of anyway.
The next thing for me is utilizing Claude Code to generate the blogs. With Claude Code, you can input as many bits of data as you want in terms of the reference data. So you can input your writing style. You can input the how to write a proper blog post. You can input the data probably from Surfer SEO as well. And from there, it would generate the blogs for you with everything taken into account. So the writing style that you want it to be written in, how to write a proper blog post, what's the content you want it to write. And the theory in my head, I'm sure this either exists already or it's coming, is that you can automate these blogs to be, you can come up with the idea maybe, or you can fine tune it once it's created. You can approve it basically once it's created it. But the process surely can be semi or almost autonomous.
Well, yeah, you would hope so. The other aspect which we use is need to make sure that it's not obvious AI. So obviously the bits that obviously AI write, we make sure that we put through like an AI detector.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I make sure that I put it through that and make sure that it's not obviously been written by AI, because I think that gets a little bit penalized.
You know how I overcame that with the blogs that I'm writing for the personal website? I overcame that by providing it as much of the stuff that I've actually written before. So I've put in there all sorts, company announcements, memos, board meeting notes, anything that I've actually written that I've really spent a lot of attention and care writing.
How have you done that though? Have you like built your own GPT or?
No, so I'm using Claude Code. So Claude Code is a bit different to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you can build your own GPT, which is one way to do it. And you can kind of take the same principle as you upload files to the custom GPT. But the way that ChatGPT handles those uploads it kind of like strips them down. It doesn't keep the context, whereas Claude Code keeps the whole context. So you can have, you normally use an IDE, which is a coding environment, which is basically a bunch of files, text files. You have a folder. In that folder, you can call it instructions, for example. And in the instructions folder, you would have all the different prompts that you wanted to do. For example, I want you to write a blog post. I want you to make sure that the blog post is suitable for the mortgage industry, and particularly the fee-free mortgage industry brokers, for example. And then you could have another folder, which you can call it writing style. And then you'd have examples of stuff that you've personally written, either before AI or after AI, but things that you've actually spent a lot of time and attention writing. It could be anything. It could be a long LinkedIn post that you've written. It could be a letter that you've written to somebody. It could be a memo that you've written.
And you just put it all in there.
Put it all in there. Okay. And what it does is it extracts. It doesn't necessarily use the contents in there, because you write another prompt within the prompts folder to say, extract my writing style from these pieces of content so that you write like me. And then what the AI does, it extracts particular nuances and your style, and then it writes the blog post with your style.
Okay.
Following the instructions that you've provided.
Yeah, almost sounds too good to be true.
Well, have a look at, have you seen any of the blogs that I put up?
I've skimmed through them, but I've seen the Claude Code, or what people's kind of been pushing a little bit. But yeah, I don't know how you go around creating it. I haven't delved that deep into it.
I think I'll do a video about it, because I've got a few people to say the same thing. I want to set up Claude Code, but I'm not sure how to set it up, because you need to use a terminal to interact with it, and then you need to be able to have an IDE to review the files. So it's easy once it's set up, but it's the setup process that I think could be useful to create maybe some instructions on how to do it. That would be useful content.
Yeah, 100%. Because the thing is with AI at the moment, it's great. It seems like it's forever changing, and there's something coming out every day. So it's just a lot of it. It's hard to strip back what's good and what's like AI slop, essentially.
Brain rot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just finding the good systems that can really help. Because I've made like an AI twin even for videos, and I've tested it kind of on several different programs, and I've found one which is quite good with HeyGen, but even then it's not perfect.
Yeah, we use HeyGen internally as well. It's good because you can customize your intros, right? You can send a personalized video to a prospect and say, hey, John, I've done this video for you, and it just inserts the John, and it looks really realistic, and you can send a voice note on LinkedIn and all kinds of things like that for outreach. It's pretty good. HeyGen is pretty good.
And then you can use like your own voice and stuff. So you can connect it to like 11 labs and
it's going to get better. That's the thing. And I think when it gets better and more accessible, the question mark is, if it's a noisy world now and there's a lot of AI slop, how much more AI slop are we going to have in the future is the question, right?
That's the thing. It's almost like, where does it end? Because you don't really want everything to be kind of AI. Or maybe they just segment it and you clearly label, this is AI, this is not.
Yeah, that's the hope that Gemini did with all the Gemini images that it generates. It's got like a little sign of it being generated by AI. Yeah, so every image that Gemini generates has got like this little something like a star. It looks like it's clearly been done by AI. But how do you do that with text or with code or with other things? And then you got the copyright thing. If something's generated with AI and it's writing a lovely poem, but it's extracted the data from other poems that exist, where is the copyright? Who owns the copyright? That's a whole different ballgame, right?
Yeah, it's difficult, especially with like, obviously you see all the images and the videos at the moment, and it's still quite obvious, but obviously there is going to be a time when it's like, where does it end and start?
Yeah. Indistinguishable entirely from real life.
Exactly. It's difficult.
What does your tech stack look like within the business? What are you using to run your business day to day?
So standard tools from the front end, what you'll probably see, of course, we use WordPress for the website. We use Calendly for just our booking system. And then obviously that comes in and that lands in our CRM. Now, our CRM at the moment, the back end, we use a really quite basic system, but that is, we are in the process at the moment of changing the CRM system.
You tell me, yeah.
Yeah, so what's worked for us for the last couple of years is to really water down the system. And because we're quite a small team, it's been quite easy to manage. But of course, with us willing to grow and us looking to grow over the next couple of years, I really need to nail down the processes and new CRMs as we look forward, really. So I need to slightly tweak the systems, the CRM. So what our CRM does now is really very manual. It doesn't automate. There's no AI built in at all. Whereas the new systems that I have been looking at, they do a lot more. So they do a lot more from call recording and pre-filling out fact find data.
Yeah, talk about that a second, because you mentioned you're looking at a system that, from what I understand, and this is something that I've been looking to build into one of the products we have here, Evalua, but you're fact finding on the phone with a client. What would you call a client? An applicant or?
Yeah, an applicant.
An applicant. So. And the data that they give you, such as, I guess there's a sequence of questions you have to go through for every candidate, right? Every candidate, every applicant.
Yeah.
And that information then gets put through to the CRM. So this system at the moment is manual. You have to write it down on a piece of paper or put it into the CRM as you go. But this new CRM we're looking at is potentially going to be doing that automatically. Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, it call records, listens to the voice, listens to the conversation. And as you are saying it, as you're going through the name, address, employment details, their debts, income, outgoings, it's pre-filling out all of the fact find, which not only will save us time, it just avoids keying errors as well.
True. And do you go through a process of verifying it? Because sometimes we found that one of the stumbling blocks for us at the moment is, do we build this in automatically, or do we have a human in the loop layer where there's a sense of certainty with our transcription service? We always have a sense of certainty of how certain the AI is that this transcription is accurate. Sometimes the sense of certainty is quite low. So in those instances, do you know if this product that you're looking at advises you, hey, you need to check this information, or does it?
Yeah, well, they would always tell us to check it and just to make sure, but it should be correct because the system should check it afterwards.
How do you mean?
The reason why is because we have to receive ID. So what would effectively happen is that it would fill out the fact find. We would then send a portal link to the customer. They would then upload and verify their ID, and then that would sync with the fact find.
Got it.
So when they upload their passport or their driver's license, it should automatically sync. So like everything's all in line. The only things that I suppose you'd really need to check, potentially addresses, make sure addresses are spelt correctly. Just kind of minor details, but the majority should be picked up from the fact find, and then that should correlate and match the ID and their credit file. So let's say they told us they had a loan with X amount outstanding, or they didn't tell us about a loan, then when we're able to access their credit file, that should automatically sync with what they've told us, or be very similar. So that's where the new systems and the new CRMs are really eye-opening, because you look at it and it's like, not only is this going to save us time, it's just going to be so much more compliant, just to make our life a lot easier. It should just speed up and make the process a lot better. The only downside that I can see at the moment is a lot of the systems aren't ready. The one that I was speaking to, because they're very new, they are missing some basic marketing features in the system.
Got it.
So they don't currently have emails built in or SMS. WhatsApp. And there's a few other things that it is missing. So I'm just kind of on the fence at the moment as to whether to go early and get in there now and almost be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Because if something was to go wrong or regulation was to change, or just wait.
Yeah. Would you consider going for a system that plugs into your current CRM rather than going for a whole new CRM that does these things and might be missing features? Does your current CRM have things like email and WhatsApp as well built in?
Yeah, so the current CRMs have not just ours, but there are a lot of other CRMs that have a lot of these functions already built in, but it's more automations than AI. So yeah, I would consider a plug-in as long as it was smooth. Yeah, essentially.
That's the key.
As long as it was a smooth transaction to get that data or get that information or do whatever you need to do. It's just a lot of the time when it's completely separate, it causes another job. And the thing is, the problem is it's not just for me. If it was just me, it wouldn't be an issue. But when you've got to train other brokers to do that, that's a different ball game.
Yeah, I mean, my dev team won't be very happy, but I want to build this into Evalua. And the idea is that it should plug in to whatever CRM you're using, because every CRM has fields, and then you can API data into those fields. So you shouldn't even use, you shouldn't need to use our tool per se. You just have the conversation, and then the data extracted from that conversation gets pumped into the CRM straight away. And then you need to have some kind of degree of certainty provided to you somehow. So maybe one of the fields in the CRM could be that degree of certainty. So you have your applicant's record on the CRM, and then you'd have all the data filled out. And then one of the elements on there might be the degree of certainty, 50%, 75%, 20%. And you just do a review. I mean, anything under 50%, you can do a manual review. And that would automatically save you a bunch of time, because it means that 50% of your applicants are automatically categorized, and you've got confidence that data is probably correct.
Yeah, obviously it has to be accurate, it has to be correct, especially in our field. But from what I've seen so far, it's definitely going in the right direction. It's 100% going in the right direction. So, like I say, whether it comes in a form of a specifically built CRM or whether it's plugins,
you just want the efficiencies. You don't care, right?
Doesn't really make a difference.
What do you use?
Honesty.
Have you noticed a change in how people communicate? Are you using more your phones more? Are you using more email? Are you using more WhatsApp? What are you using to communicate with?
So I would really say, like I say, where I've been a broker for 14 years, massively changed from the old Connells days, because they were still using sometimes like paper files. It seems mad. It seems mad now. But even in the last kind of 5 to 6 years, we're using just basic things like WhatsApp a lot more, just for communicating and updates.
With applicants mostly,
Yeah, with applicants. So after we have the initial chat with them, obviously they get to know us and we have the introduction. After that communication, most customers are happy just to communicate through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still like picking up the phone and actually speaking to people. Especially for the main calls. So like the initial call, when we're actually recommending a product to them, and of course when we're giving them good news. Yeah. I want to make sure that I'm calling them. But anything kind of in between, I'm happy to email or WhatsApp, whatever.
And when you do the calls, are you doing the calls over WhatsApp audio, or are you actually picking up your desk phone and calling them to their mobile number?
Oh, no, we're actually using our VoIP setup that we've got built in. So, whether that's through the laptop or the mobile.
And what is the choice over using that or calling them through WhatsApp audio? Or have it not been considered yet?
It's not really been considered. I haven't really. Sometimes we need to call people over WhatsApp, especially if they're like abroad or based abroad. But generally people, still just standard phone lines.
Really. People are used to that, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's the standard. And you finding you do many video calls with your applicants or not?
Not huge amounts. Over COVID, there was quite a few, because some people want to speak to you and see you face to face almost, but not a huge amount. I would still say 95%. It's still just standard phone calls, emails, WhatsApps.
And the clients come to see you?
Yes, but very rarely. Very rarely. I would literally say like 1%. We obviously have an office just outside Romsey, and people can come in. We've got kind of a main head office, a boardroom kind of area which we can use, but it's so rare that people want to. People don't really want to now. They don't need to, because they can upload pay slips, bank statements, ID, proof of deposit, everything that we need within 10 minutes from their phone.
Remote. Yeah.
So it just kind of doesn't make sense anymore, really.
And if you compare it to how things were when you first started the business to now, technology-wise, what would you say is the biggest shift and was provided the biggest impact to you?
Depending on whether we're looking at marketing or the sales side. From the sales side, I would probably say just customer portals, because customers can really, especially with our demographic of customers, is very what you would call in the industry like vanilla cases. So like very standard first-time buyers, quite straightforward applications. So customers can almost do a lot of the process themselves now because it's all through portals online. So that's been a game changer, because sometimes we'll speak to a customer, send them the link to the portal, which they log in. We then come in the following day. We've got everything that we need.
All done.
Everything, not 90% of what they need for the full mortgage application. We can then have another call with the customer, run through their options, give them our advice from our experience, make our recommendation. And if they're happy to proceed, we can submit an application before 24 hours. Whereas
Amazing.
we never used to be able to do that.
Amazing.
It used to be so much more sluggish.
And this portal, where does it come from? From the CRM? Or is it from the
so
banks?
that's from the CRM.
From the CRM.
Yes, that's from the CRM. Now, at the moment, the portal is okay. It works. And it's not the most modern of CRMs. Again, the one we're looking at, 'cause honestly, in the last 6 months, I think I've tried over probably 40 different CRMs.
Whoa.
From mortgage CRMs and your normal Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, Monday, everything. I've literally tried all of those CRMs. So I've just been really working out, but I've narrowed it down to a couple. And one of the ones I'm looking at, the portal is more than a portal. So it does all of the basics. It verifies ID, carries out AML checks. But with this portal, it gives more to the customer, the one that we're currently looking at. And it provides EPC ratings for the property that they want, crime statistics, everything about the area that they're looking at. Just got so much more information on the portal. So that's why I quite like this one other CRM, and that they're not a native AI CRM, but they're one of the largest around. So that's why I'm kind of considering them as well.
Sounds like a much better customer experience overall.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably been the biggest change technology-wise, especially from the sales perspective. Yeah, the game changer for us, really. It just makes our life so much easier. It leaves us down to just helping the customer where they need help in giving advice and recommendation. So ultimately, it just provides better customer outcomes, really, because then we can focus on making sure that they've got the right mortgage protection and we're giving them the best product and service, really.
Yeah. Well, the next one is kind of like going on to the hard part. So what would you say is the hardest part of running a mortgage broker that somebody from outside of the industry would not see?
100% the regulation. Most people don't understand the amount, don't get me wrong, I'm not what you would class probably as a serial entrepreneur that has loads of businesses. I've worked in the property business, buying property, selling property, and obviously mortgages. I haven't run lots of different companies, but from my understanding, a regulated business is considerably different to just a standard business. And the regulation aspect in the mortgage industry in the UK is extreme. The amount of hoops you have to jump through to just open the doors is unreal. So that's probably the biggest challenge, is just staying on top of that, because it's not something which you get accepted by the FCA and then that's it. You can just go off and do what you want. It's a constant quarterly, half-yearly, yearly tests, and you constantly have to prove your knowledge and just the running of the business to the FCA.
And have you noticed it getting worse or better with the changes in government over the last 5 years?
Probably harder.
Yeah.
Because we have to do reports to the FCA every quarter, and then annually there's a big report, as in, I think there's about 15 different segments to it. And it seems like there's constantly something being added to that. And then obviously that's one element, but you've got to stay on the right side of compliance and make sure that we're doing our fraud checks with the lenders, making sure that we tick all of the lenders' boxes kind of do everything right by them as well. So yeah, it's more the regulation aspect. A lot of people I don't fully understand what goes on in the background.
And appreciate the implications of what's involved, right?
Yeah, exactly. They want the cheapest rate.
Yeah.
And what are their monthly payments going to be?
Yeah. What's the moment where something's actually gone wrong, a deal's fallen through, or something's gone wrong, and how did you react and how did you fix it?
Well, probably since setting up the company, the biggest thing that has gone wrong was not necessarily a case. It was more, as a mortgage broker, you work under a network. So a network reports to the FCA. We fortunately have moved away from that because we no longer have to work under a network because we report directly to the FCA, which we've done about 18 months ago or so. But
Cut out the middleman kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah, so they're like the middleman that does all of the regulation and supposedly makes it easier. But a lot of the time they make it more difficult. A lot of the time, because they deal with 1,000 companies, so they have to have like these set guidelines. Back in 2021, I think it was, one of the networks that we were working under, well, the main network that we were working under, essentially went out of business. So we couldn't trade for a period of time.
Wow.
And that was really stressful, because we were just in limbo. And it was about 2.5 months.
Wow.
So I had to rush around, find a new network, get signed off by a new network. And it was all a bit up in the air because didn't know how long it was going to take. We still had customers that needed help.
Yeah.
So we had to find other brokers to potentially give them the customers to service. And then in the aim that when we get signed back off,
They come back.
they come back to us.
What a challenge.
That was the biggest, most stressful time because we just couldn't do anything. We literally could not write any business. So yeah, that wasn't ideal.
I actually don't think it can get worse than that. Not being able to, not being able to open your doors. It's probably one of the worst things that can happen for a business.
Yeah, exactly.
Not being able to service customers that actually want you to service them.
Yeah, it was. It was just, scary times because it's like, how much is my income going to be affected for the next year and what's going to happen? And it was just, for about 2.5 months, we were just in limbo.
And what's the biggest takeaway? What would you say, what did you learn from it? And what is your biggest takeaway from that moment? And
well, the biggest thing was I want to cut out the middleman, basically.
That was
That was the biggest takeaway. But we couldn't do that straight away. So we had to get a certain amount of funds behind us, structures behind us, and not only that, confidence. I needed confidence that I could report directly to the FCA myself. And we finally done that 18 months ago.
Well done.
And we got there in the end. And life's a lot easier now.
I'm all about cutting out the middleman. It gives you that extra level of control to provide a better service to the customers overall.
Yeah, exactly. And there's less compliance around marketing as well. Because when you work under a network, they give you very strict guidelines of what you're allowed to do. Whereas when we report directly to the FCA, it's far more lenient.
Yeah.
We're the judge of that, essentially. So, it's much better.
And if you let's touch back on AI again. Do you think there's ever a time in the future where people won't speak to humans to get their mortgage sorted and they'll speak to an AI?
That's the massive talk across the industry. And you always see somebody pop up like, we're not going to exist in 5 years' time or 10 years' time.
All industries, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to affect every industry in one way, shape or form. I think in the short to middle term, I think we need to use AI to our advantage. And how I would describe to almost clean up and help as many people as physically possible while utilizing the right tools. In the really long term, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, who knows? Honestly, I wouldn't like to guess because the thing is, the money supermarkets and the compare the markets already exist.
Yeah.
So people can already go and just do their mortgage, right? Especially with the type of mortgages that we submit, because a lot of our mortgages are relatively straightforward. But a lot of people, when they're taking out a £300,000, £400,000, £500,000 mortgage, they want the reassurance.
Yeah.
So they want to speak to somebody.
People want to deal with people. People want to buy
Yeah.
from people. So I think there will be a service similar to Money Supermarket with a bit of AI built in. Maybe you'll speak to an agent. You'll be speaking to an agent that sorts the mortgage for you. But there will absolutely still be that market of, I think the majority of people will want to speak to a human to have that reassurance and that confidence that it will go through okay. It's a stressful time, isn't it, buying a house?
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's not going to just disappear overnight. It's just can't happen. And the other aspect, I think, which half protects us, which is a bit of a pain for some industries, is that we're in Europe. And we're not in EU, but the regulation across Europe and technology is far slower. It's faster. And for some things, that's terrible. For certain companies, that's terrible. For some people like us, that protects us for a longer period of time.
Interesting.
So in some ways, I see, obviously I look at investing, I look at other different types of companies and yeah, obviously they're moaning about Europe being so slow, but I half think they're doing a good job protecting some people as well. So you don't want too much technology too fast.
That's an interesting take, because as a tech entrepreneur, I feel that, it's the opposite. They're too slow. And the best thing that come out of Europe is those bottles of water that got a little clip on it. That's the best thing that's come out of Europe in the last 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it feels like they're falling behind so much with tech, but it just depends how you look at it. It depends how you play it. And it also depends how you look at it from your own advantage, really. Yeah. So I half see that as a slight positive, but I know there'll be loads of people who wouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you see, Alexander Southampton, your business in 5 years' time?
5 years' time, I really just want to change us from what I would call as a company at the moment, more so heavily run through me, because there's only kind of like 5-6 of us at the moment, and just to slowly kind of scale it organically without overly forcing it, so it can essentially run without me. So maybe 2, 3, 4 more people, keep doing high numbers, to keep doing well, keeping the company really profitable, and just make it so it's like self-sufficient.
And how have you thought of doing that? Have you thought of, obviously you need some key players to do that. Have you thought of hiring key players and potentially giving away equity in the future, or is that off the table?
I haven't really thought about that. I've more thought about the technology side of things. Okay. So if I can get the tech right, the CRMs right, and our processes right, I feel like if we just hired the right people, I don't think I would really need to give away equity at this stage, depending on what scale you want to get it to. I'm not really sitting there thinking kind of like Circle Cloud scale at the moment, because obviously you have a lot of employees. But
if you can do it with less, with the use of technology, I recommend that from a first-hand perspective.
Yeah, but I'm more thinking maybe 10 to 15 key members of the team, and I think a business level of that size would be perfect for me and my family. Yeah, at the end of the day,
with a key player or two that runs the day to day and utilizing AI. I mean, Steve Jobs said the computer this is in 1980 something. He said this: the computer's like a bicycle for the mind, because it lets you get from A to B faster. The bicycle, right? I think AI, I've said it before, it's like a rocket ship for the mind, because it helps you go from A to B so much faster than a computer does, but it also can do it for you. And if you leverage AI and you leverage the tools that come from AI to be able to build your business operationally, make it operationally sound and structured in a way that it can just scale up, that's the right approach. And then you put the people on top of that. Don't put the people first and then put the automations in. Do the process engineering first, build the automations, and then you might realize they might not need all those people. You might need less. And that's, trust me, a better approach, because it's less payroll, less headaches, and
exactly. And that's why, I'm just taking my time to get it right now. Just taking my time to get like the CRM and our processes right now, rather than diving into something, making a mistake, going back on it, and then I'm trying to make it as clean as possible for when we decide to scale.
Absolutely the right approach. Well, Jamie, thanks for being here. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
Yeah, so absolutely. Visit our website, as-mortgages.co.uk, or of course, reach out to me on socials, and then I can point you in the right direction and hopefully start your home ownership journey. Yeah. So perfect. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.